Hello and a warm welcome to Federal special program Capital Beat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi performed the Pran Pratishtha or the consecration ceremony at Ayodhya. Along with him were present Governor Anandiben Patel, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. Along with him, RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat were also there. And they were all present inside the sanctum sanctorum. But after the ceremony was over, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with Mohan Bhagwat, gave a speech. And I'm going to talk about the big points which Prime Minister mentioned during the course of his speech. He first began his speech by saying that Lord Ram has arrived and the wait for the centuries is over. Apart from that, he sought forgiveness from Lord Ram for the delay in the construction of the temple. He thanked the Supreme Court of India. Then he also said that the construction of Ram Temple has heralded a new era for India. Then he also took a dig at the opposition and he said that there were people who once said that if Ram Temple is built, then the country will be set on fire. So taking a dig from that, he said that Ram is not fire, but energy. Ram is not a problem, but he's a solution. Apart from that, he also said that the temple is a symbol of national consciousness. And then he said, what is most surprising, that Ram is the idea of India. Then he goes on to say that Ram is the law of India. Then he goes on to say that Ram is the prestige of India. And then finally, he ends his speech by using the word Kal Chakra or the cycle of time. Many times he mentioned during the course of his speech, and he said that Kal Chakra is changing. And then he said that now we have to lay the foundation for the next 1,000 years. So this was the crux of his speech. But when he says that Ram is the idea of India, Ram is the law of India, Ram is the prestige of India, is this the beginning of a new Hindu Rashtra, which has been dreamt by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP. Joining me now is Sharad Gupta, senior editor and senior journalist, joining us. So thank you so much for joining. We have TK Rajlakshmi, deputy editor of the Frontline. Thank you so much. And we have Vivek Deshpande, political commentator and senior journalist. Thank you so much, Vivek. And let me begin with Sharad Gupta. Sharadji, how would you really see Prime Minister Narendra Modi's speech? And before I come to your answer, let me also remind the viewers that Mohan Bhagwat also mentioned during the course of his speech that, you know, it's a proud day for all the Indians. But at the same time, he tried to show a mirror to Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. And he said that India cannot become a Vishwaguru without the consensus. We need to get over all the controversies. This is what he obliquely mentioned. Now, was he trying to show a mirror? That is also a big question. Yes, Sharadji, if I may come to you, that is Prime Minister Narendra Modi talking about a totally new consciousness and a new era of India. And what is that according to you?
In fact, the way he said, Ram aa gaye hain, Ram has arrived. So that means Ram was in transition so far. He was not in India. He was somewhere abroad, or I don't know where he was. So, but the whole thing is that probably what he wanted to instill, or the RSS and Vishwa Hindu Parishad wanted to instill among the people so far, has now been instilled to some extent. The way entire North India was painted saffron today, and not only today, for the last 2-3 days, the rallies were taken out, and people were celebrating, singing bhajans and deepotsa, whatnot. And in fact, one of my colleagues, he said he wanted to come to office, and he was stopped on the way by some people who were taking out a rally, and they said, "Okay, there is a holiday, don't you know?" He said, the colleague said, "No, I'm working in a media organization. It's a private one, and I have to go to office." Nobody can go to office today. Either you join us in celebrations or go back.
Yeah, that's true.
So that is that the kind of India Ram wanted? Is that the kind of India BJP wants? Means we have seen so many times in so many years that basically when you take an idea might be good, but then if hooliganism takes over and it goes wayward, so it's very easy to trigger an agitation. movement, but it's very difficult to control it. And I feel what they wanted to achieve was a political power, and that they have already done through social messaging, through political messaging, through religious messaging. They have already done that, and now I feel that they want to convert into kind of political thunderstorm. And the way Prime Minister Modi spent his last 7 8 days in South India, visiting all temples, taking bath and all that. So, and all kind of rituals, sleeping on floor, the fasting. So he wanted to show that there is no bigger Hindu than me. Although he was not supposed to be the what they call Mukhya Yajman. So he was only the chief guest, but the way he performed puja and all kind of religious rituals inside the temple, there's no doubt that the trustee Anil Mishra was Mukhya Yajman only in the name, and the entire everything was being done by Prime Minister Modi. So
Right.
he is the Hindu icon. BJP and VHP, RSS, they were trying to project for a long time. And now I suppose he has already emerged as the Hindu icon. I can't say that India has become Hindu Rashtra as yet, but of course, Modi has emerged as Hindu icon, the right wing leader, unchallenged. And
Right.
I feel a major reason for this is that the opposition doesn't have any strategy to counter that.
Right.
They have no alternative plan to offer, and that's why whatever BJP and RSS are projecting, that is being treated by people as gospel's truth. That this is the ultimate truth. There's nothing beyond that now.
Right.
And their social media juggernaut, that means converts all propaganda into gospel's truth. So that is another reason for opposition and people to worry
Right.
that they have to take care
Right.
in believing whatever BJP and RSS are trying to convey.
Right. All right. Let me come to Vivek Deshpande. Pushpraj Deshpande, the director of Samrit Bharat Foundation, has also joined. Thank you so much, Pushpraj. I'll come to you later. Vivek, what Sharatji was saying, that Modi has become the new Hindu icon, or if I may say, a new Hindu mascot. But do you see some kind of a new resurgence of Hindutva now post this consecration ceremony? And just analyze what all Modi said today, that it heralds a new era. Ram is a fire, is not a fire, but energy. Ram is the temple of national consciousness. Then he said that Ram is the idea of India. Now, what was Modi trying to say during the course of his speech, and what is he trying to convey to the people?
Yeah, Nilu, I saw this whole speech and the manner and the body language of Mr. Narendra Modi. I remembered immediately, the tryst with destiny speech of Pandit Nehru. That was the kind of attitude with which Mr. Modi was delivering his speech, as if India has got a new freedom on January 22, and what he was laying a roadmap for the future, just like what Pandit Nehru did in 1947. So, he was saying that we have to go this way for the next 1,000 years. So it was his own tryst with destiny speech. And he wanted to project himself as someone in whom, political power and religious power both have amalgamated. And he was the supreme icon of both politics and religion in this country. So, and in so many words, the RSS chief also described him. He was tapasvi. So, he's trying to see all his sojourn to the South India, to all those temples, was in a way to counter the criticism of four Shankaracharyas. He tried to become the religious icon by going through that period of penance, as he says and as his followers claim. So he was trying to counter the Shankaracharyas by doing that whole penance in South India and all these temples. So he is not just the political head of India, but now he is virtually the religious head as well. That is the kind of position that he wants to get himself for the next many years. I mean, I don't know how many years he will be there as Prime Minister. But then he is then also speaking of the concept of Dev to Desh and Ram to Rashtra, which clearly lays the foundation of India on religious grounds. Now, this is de facto Hindu Rashtra. Yeah, and when he says that Ram is the consciousness of the country, it applies to all, including the Muslims, the Christians, and everyone. Anyone who doesn't believe in Hinduism will also have to accept Ram as his or her consciousness. So this is clearly a de facto Hindu Rashtra. He has virtually declared India as a de facto Hindu Rashtra. So it's not in the making. It's already been made. And when he speaks of this Kal Chakra thing, you see, he's trying to say that the new age has just begun. Many of his followers feel that India got real independence in 2014, and so many said it in so many words also. So he is trying to stress exactly that this is India is awakening to a new freedom where Hinduism will have the last say and the last laugh as well. So India has been converted now fully into a religious state where it is difficult to segregate religion from statecraft. He has weaved statecraft and religion seamlessly with today's consecration ceremony, Nilu.
Right. You made an important point, and Rajalakshmi, if I may come to you now. If what Vivek is saying, that it looks like, he's converted India into a religious state. Now, what happens to the other communities? And other communities, I mean the Muslim community. Is there a sense of closure for them? And what next for Prime Minister Narendra Modi? That is also an important question, to which he answered in his speech. He said that now we are going to lay the foundation for India in the next 1,000 years. This is what he says. But what about the other communities, this otherization, which is also seen along with the existence of this religious identity of Hinduism and all? Now, how does one deal with this phenomena now, which we'll see in the coming days?
No, clearly, there's a large section in a country that does not ascribe to the idea of India that Mr. Modi has shouted out today, from this consecration ceremony. And this idea of India, it contrasts. It's in conflict with the idea of India that is enshrined in the preamble of our constitution, and which very interestingly several people have sort of posted the preamble, on their Instagram accounts, pages, etc. So it's not that counter to this doesn't exist, and it's quite ironical that the idea of India as an idea, it first emanated from people who were in fact critical of the rise of fringe elements within the Sangh Parivar, and where lynch mobs were on the rampage. This whole thing about beef eating and anti cow sort of campaigns, etc. So there's all this protection, self style, vigilantes, coming to the fore. So this whole idea of India, it actually it came, as a poser from the critics of Modi, and today it's quite interesting how several things as have been appropriated by the Sangh over time. The idea of India as an idea has also been appropriated by him today by saying that Ram is the idea of India. No, it's not. It's not. Yes, it's the idea of India according to the BJP. It's the idea of India according to the Sangh. But I do not think that even Hindus, in fact, even sort of believing Hindus who at least have a sense of history, they wouldn't say this. I mean, they would. Who also take pride in the fact that we have a constitution which stands for the rights of equal rights of everybody, and irrespective of caste, creed, religion, etc. As far as, of course, the minorities go, yes. It's not just the Muslims, but I think every minority in the country would feel insecure, by these kind of proclamations coming from a person as tall, as a prime minister. You see, he's sort of practically heading the state. Of course, the president also, but then here you have the prime minister who is the head of an elected, democratically elected government, and who is openly making such religiously colored remarks. And of course, this entire backdrop in which this thing has happened. Today, I was just reading. There's been a ban, on the sale of non-vegetarian food in UP, and the state government had issued an order, and the restaurant association, etc., have complied with it. So it's a dry day, no chicken and meat. Some of my, in fact, my journalist friends, were complaining that chicken and meat was not available over the last 1 week. I didn't believe them. Till I learned that there was an official government order that is barring the sale of meat. So here, and in this film, as Annapurni, which was shown on Netflix, which had to be brought down because there was a reference to Ram being a non-vegetarian. If he was a Kshatriya, I assume he would have eaten, some of that stuff. But you see this complete sort of distortion in the whole in the whole idea of Ram himself. To sort of portray him, as some kind of militant avatar, or whatever, which has been as part of this bellicosity that has accompanied this run up to the consecration ceremony, and including in apartments, etc., in societies that we live in. People have had no choice, but to accept the fact that all those bhandaras are being held. You have people putting up flags. Now, if I was to put up a poster in my society, I'm sure it would not be all that easy to just go and put up a poster or a flag. It won't be so easy. You see, so there's this kind of a bullying, which has happened, and so I think everybody has been sort of acquiesced to silence, including, so it's not just, the minorities. Several of us, who've been, who do not like this stridency, in language, in religion,
absolutely,
in approach. Yeah.
Right. And wearing Ram on the sleeve, that is certainly not important and mandatory that you need to display your religiosity. Pushpaji, if I may come to you, I really want to ask what Rajalakshmi was saying. And there is a certain kind of bullying in every apartment society, resident welfare associations. They organize these bhajans and kirtans where they are saying that no, it's mandatory to attend them, whether you work or you don't, but you please attend the kirtans. At least that is what the kind of diktat which I came across. Now, what has really changed for India with this consecration ceremony, according to you? What Modi says that this has heralded a new era for India. But according to you, how will the things change from here on? Yes.
Sorry. Hi, Niluji. See, there are two parts to your question. One is the very immediate as to why mass consciousness has become so religious. Now, one could argue, as people have argued, that mass consciousness in India has become more religious, more conservative, as a CSDA survey from 2019, along with this Konrad Adenauer Foundation suggests. But I think if you look at Lohiya, Gandhi, Ambedkar, Golwalkar, all agree on one fact, that India's mainstream, socio-cultural mainstream, has been a dialogue or dialectic, depending on how you look at it, between Hinduism and Hindutva. And, Nehru and Gandhi famously had a long discussion. There's a number of papers about how religious iconography and idioms are pervasive, and they hence used it for their political things. So I think India has always been very spiritual, religious. What the BJP has successfully done is weaponize that for their ideological and political ends. And in this, progressive forces must take large part of the blame, simply because they vacated the mainstream, the national pulse that I have called it, because they just simply refuse to. They focused. There's nothing wrong in it. Like they assume, like the social democratic parties of Europe, they decided to focus on a Weberian state and delivering the welfare, the development welfare programs that they felt would further the constitutional promise of India. There's nothing wrong in that, but they ignored the cultural, the social mainstream that currently existed, and the BJP weaponized that. That's one part to your question. The other larger part is that, see, the BJP and the RSS have successfully restructured the political center. They've shifted it rightward. There's no denying that. And this has profound constitutional and institutional implications. It'll take a lot of concerted effort and a lot of creative ideological effort to bring back the polity to the center and reclaim hearts and minds. I'm not denying that. But what they have actually done today is not just an attack on the constitutional idea of India, which is something that has been going on for the last 9 years. They are also restructuring the way Hinduism is organized. And understand this has not happened for the last 800-900 years. India, civilizationally, has been a synthesis, and Hinduism is one of the many sampradayas which has always been this melting pot. It is always borrowed. So because there are so many sampradayas, India has always believed that there are multiple paths to attaining moksha. You could be doing it through karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, so on and so forth, right? Which is why you could be polytheistic, atheistic, dualistic, monotheistic, and still continue to be Hindu. That's what we today call as Ganga Jamuni Tehzeeb, Vasudev Kutumbakam, and so on and so forth. But what they're doing now is they basically, the last 40 years, they used all these sampradayas, misused them, and now they've spat them out. So which is why the Shankaracharyas, the akhadas, the ashrams, the mutts, they have become props in this larger militant Hinduism. But in doing this, they are creating this Hindu Vatican. Now, this is going to have profound societal implication, because it is that Vatican which is now this ecclesial order, which is going to impose what the Sangh's hardline has been doing for the last 9 years. There are going to be rigid prescriptions on what you eat, how you dress, who you marry, what caste you marry in. And that is going to be scripturally sanctioned by one holy order, one holy book, and so on and so forth. And see, this is one part of the problem. This is the bad side. The good side is that these many sampradayas, including the 4 Shankaracharyas, including the 4 dhams, the 12 Jyotirlings, and so many saints. I mean, you see lakhs of saints going into the Kumbh Mela. At today's consecration ceremony, there were less than 3,000-4,000 saints. There is a structural implosion happening within Hinduism. They are pushing back, and within the heartland state, because they realize that they've been used and thrown away. Now, the reason why the PM Modi is now shifting southwards, because the Great Wall of the Vindhyas, that's what I call it, the Great Wall of the Vindhyas, has so far resisted this, simply because social reform movement happened in the south.
Right.
Now, these temples, the BJP is actively wooing them, infiltrating them, so that they can breach this the Wall of the Vindhyas. But right now, these temples are very agreeable, saying that, we will also benefit like Ayodhya, we will get money, and so on and so forth. But they don't realize that they are going to also face the same problems. And the last thing that I want to say, which is something that you will want the other panelists to also say, this also marks a fundamental restructuring in the relationship between the Sangh and the BJP. The Sangh, the hardline, Sangh is not a monolith organization. It has a sort of a semi-liberal faction. It has a hardline faction. The hardline faction has colluded with the BJP to prescribe and impose and drive its ideological agenda. Today, Mohan Bhagwat was a prop. The entire Sangh Parivar is a prop today. Yeah. The fact of the matter is, they are now going to continue to grab more space. They are going to rake up much more issues. So I'm fairly certain they're going to take up Mathura, Varanasi, demolition of the masjids. They will take up CNRC. They will take up Akhand Bharat. They will take up the Uniform Civil Code. So in the next year, because next year, 2025 is 100 years of RSS. The hardline of the Sangh and the BJP to crowd out the center within the Sangh is now going to be far more aggressive. So we will see a further attack on the constitutional idea of India on Hinduism. So it's a very interesting time in terms of the theological and political structure. Progressive forces also have a challenge here.
Right, absolutely. And to your point that, how RSS is will also be facing a tough time. Vivek, you would want to answer this. What are the challenges now which RSS will be facing, to what Pushpa just pointed out? And do you see any kind of implosion within RSS? And it was true what we saw of Mohan Bhagwat. He was actually a prop. And he did try to, show some kind of a mirror, but he looked very intimidated with this, big icon of the Hindu icon of Modi. He looked intimidated, no matter how brave and, a brave heart he might sound. at that time. So what is the kind of implosion we would see within RSS if there is a structural change within Hinduism, what Pushpraj was just pointing out?
Nilu, I don't know if there is any possibility of implosion within the RSS, because RSS is certainly a monolithic organization, and even if there are differences within the RSS, they don't let it surface. They resolve those issues within themselves. I don't know if that is going to change in the future course of time, but till now they have spoken with one voice. They have had several differences among their ranks even in the past, and the different Sarsang Chalaks had taken different lines vis-a-vis different subjects, but overall they always speak in one voice. How long will that continue? I don't know, but for now RSS has chosen, has kind of acquiesced to the fact that they have to play second fiddle to Modi's BJP. As long as Modi is there in the BJP, RSS will have to play second fiddle. Once Modi goes out of picture, then maybe RSS has some chance of getting its stranglehold back. But till then, RSS will have to play second fiddle to Modi, and they cannot let go of the BJP in power. They have to have BJP in power at any cost. So even if they have any issues with Modi, they will kind of adjust with it as long as Mr. Modi is there, and then they might stage some kind of a comeback and get their stranglehold back over the BJP. But they this is very straight and simple. RSS would never like to play second fiddle for eternity. They need to get their control on the BJP back. How soon will they be able to do it? That's a $1 million question. As long as Mr. Modi is there, they will certainly not have that back. So let's see, let's wait and see. But within the RSS, they will never allow their differences to surface to a level where the organization will kind of fall apart. That will never happen. At least in the foreseeable future, that will not happen. I don't know how things transpire in the next 4 or 5 years, where this organization is headed as long as Mr. Modi is there, and what will happen to the future leadership of, because after Mohan Bhagwat, there will have to be someone, but that someone again will toe the same line. That is for sure. The kind of names that are doing rounds, they are not going to do anything different from what Mr. Bhagwat is doing. So RSS for now has to remain quiet and just follow what Mr. Modi is doing and get their things done in whatever little way they can. Pull some right strings here and there within the BJP and remain in contention, at least as second fiddle, if not down there.
Right.
Nilu.
Sharaji, if I may ask you about the Narendra Modi factor. There was a phase of 2014 to 2019 we saw, and he was trying to establish his authority. Now it looks like a second coming of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because today he spoke about the fact that he's acclaimed some divine powers. He spoke about how he went to Dhanush Kodi and he experienced the same feelings, the same divine feelings which Lord Ram experienced when he was about to vanquish Ravana. So all those sort of things which he said, does it establish him now as an unassailable leader? Does he look more strengthened from what he was in 2014 and 2019? You'll have to unmute yourself. Sharaji, you'll have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
I think he is much more confident now about the support he is getting from people. And that's why that's reflecting in his demeanor and personality. One thing I like to point out that somehow Indians have started to believe that Prime Minister Modi is the biggest religious icon of India, and the Shankaracharyas are biggest politicians in India. So that is a master stroke.
Yeah.
So anybody who is opposed to Modi or who differs with Modi, so he is painted in a way that the BJP or Modi wants to paint. So that's what I was saying, that the social media messaging of BJP and RSS that is now unparalleled. Means no other organization, political party, nobody can match it. And the way that Modi has been going south, so it seems that he wants to get some kind of foothold in the south. And the way he has chosen Annamalai as his state president in Tamil Nadu, and the way Annamalai reacted on the Sanatan issue, it's very clear that BJP will not leave its Hindutva line even down south. So it wants to convince whoever means it can reach in South India that the only way for salvation is to toe the Hindu line, and you have to come with us if you want to save Hindu and Hindutva. And I think that was his messaging through these 10 or 11 days of penance he wanted to do. In fact, the Pandits had, as we were told in the media, that anybody who is going for puja will have to do 3 days of upvas, and 3 days he'll have to sleep on the floor. But Prime Minister Modi, we were told, slept on the floor for 11 days, and he has taken a upvas for 11 days. So that establishes him, as I was saying, the really biggest religious leader of India and political leader he always was.
Right. All right, Pushparaj, I'll come to you, with that point which you mentioned earlier, where you said that, he's trying to establish a Hindu Vatican. And that's a very important point, and a point which I haven't heard on too many platforms. I really want you to elaborate that if Modi is in the process of establishing a Hindu Vatican, what does it really do to India as a nation? What is going to be the impact on the citizenry?
So
Yes,
see,
Yeah.
no. So the Ayodhya Temple Trust has already been competing with the other temple trust religious organizations, including the 4 Shankaracharyas, the Char Dhams, the 12 Jyotirlings. That is established. Many akhadas are privately and some of them are publicly unhappy about this. Now, the point is that the day you create a uniform Unitarian ecclesial order with one holy binding book, then what happens is that you will start prescribing multiple rules of what it is to be a good Hindu and a bad Hindu, right? The Sangh Parivar's hardline in the last 9 years has already been doing that. You can't eat non-vegetarian food. You can't eat beef. Women can't wear jeans. Women can't be carrying around mobile phones. Women, this love jihad thing. You can't marry between religions. You can't marry between castes, so on and so forth, right? Now, all this hardline Sangh wet dream, which is that, boss, we will create this ideal Hindu structure where everyone will behave and walk in a certain manner, and it's going to be Ein Vogue, Ein Führer, Ein Ideology. That's what's going to happen now. It's effectively that one people, one ideology, and one leader. Now the problem is in doing this, they are actually cutting down their own organization. And in this, I disagree with Vivek ji, because I know for a fact in the Yatra in Maharashtra, I walked the entire, at least 6 states in the Bharat Jodo Yatra. A number of very senior functionaries from the Sangh joined in 6 states, at least that I know of. And they repeatedly said, they didn't join the Yatra, but they came to tell us, in dono rakshashon ko hatao. Verbatim, I'm quoting this. And this is not something that I heard one of. The same line I heard multiple states by multiple functionaries saying that in dono rakshashon ko hatao, hamari sangathan nash kar rahe log. They do not, see, whatever said and done, the RSS and the Sangh Parivar is a deeply casteist, deeply disciplined organization. They have been reduced to rump players in this entire process. They are no longer, sorry, I'm just getting a call. I'm sorry. They are no longer driving their agenda, or, and that is something that Vivek ji would agree with, that they're no longer driving the agenda. They're no longer calling the shots. So the fact of the matter is, they might not say it out publicly, but internally they are shopping, which is why Bhaiyaji Joshi, one of the top 3-4%, has publicly said this, go online and said that BJP is not the only party that represents Hinduism. There are other parties. They are shopping, which is why there is this pressure on other progressive parties. Unfortunately, they are responding to this to be performative in their religiosity. I don't think that's a viable strategy. I'm just simply trying to point out that the RSS is unhappy and the BJP is undercutting its own strength.
Right, right. Yes, Vivek, you raise your point, and then I'll come
Yeah.
to concluding remarks to Rajlakshmi and Charanji. Yeah. Go on.
No, I think he has made a very important point. You see, the RSS, the real worry before the RSS is that a large majority of Hindus is still not voting for the BJP. So instead of this Hindu-Muslim or majority-minority divide, if the RSS worry is that if this whole business of Hindutva ends up dividing the Hindus or polarizing the Hindus among hardline and softline Hindus, then I think the whole project of Hindutva fails, because the whole idea of the Hindutva project is to unite Hindus. But what is happening over the last few years is that a large section of Hindus is getting alienated from this hard line of Hindutva, not within the RSS. I'm not saying within the RSS there is a rift. There is no soft Hindutva within the RSS. Even if you come across a very soft-spoken Hindutvavadi from RSS, in the heart of his heart, he would be a hardliner when it comes to Muslims, when it comes to Christians. That is for sure. So, he would not be bothered by what is happening to Muslims. And he would eventually say that, no, Muslims deserve the same treatment. And so he may not actually participate in that violence, but he would harbor that feeling of violence within his heart. So that soft line and hard line distinction doesn't exist within the RSS fold, but it does exist within the Hindu fold. It does exist within the Hindu fold. The Hindus are not all like RSS people, and that is exactly what the RSS must be worried about. That if this last section of people who are still not voting for the BJP, if it goes against RSS and eventually it becomes Hindu versus Hindu, then what happens? Right. That is the worry, and that is exactly what Modi and Shah have brought Hinduism to, and that is exactly the worry, and that is the sentiment behind what Mr. Bhaiyaji Joshi is saying. So it's very tactical. It's not very honest, but it's very tactical.
All right, Pushpraj, you raise your hand.
I just wanted to say that I don't mean to say that normatively there is divisions, philosophical normative divisions within the RSS. I'm saying this goes to speak to the temporal, financial, and political power that they exercise. It's about that. There is a difference, and that is a fault line that is waiting to be exploited. You can't exploit it with soft Hindutva or performative religiosity. But I'm just saying that is something that is already brewing.
Right. All right. Now, Rajlakshmi, if I may come to you. Now, talking about the opposition, we've spoken enough about RSS and BJP. Now, where does this whole consecration ceremony and, the stream of events in the run-up to the consecration ceremony, how opposition looked clueless, they tried to answer and they also didn't try to answer. It was both ways. Now, does the opposition look more helpless and vulnerable than what it was so far?
I wouldn't really think so, because I think the arguments, based on which they stayed away, I think were quite, valid arguments also, and which I think a substantial section also of a people, the people in the country, they do in fact affirm to it. For instance, the opposition by the Shankaracharyas itself is, I don't think was a small thing at all. It's it's a big statement in itself. Which I think many people would not perhaps articulate it, or maybe speak about it openly, but they would definitely wonder as to why have these religious years decided to boycott. Then this whole question arose when a section of the opposition said that the temple is not complete, so it doesn't make sense to go and to have this consecration ceremony in the first place, and that we would go when it gets complete. So it's not that we are anti-faith or that we are anti-Ram, etc., but we will go when it's complete. Now, again, this was a very legitimate question, and then the question also arose as to why should it be the PM of the country who should be doing the honors of all this, because it's not according to the Dharma Shastras, right? So again, I think among Hindus also, there's a section which does think. We can't assume that they have this herd sort of mentality. It's not the case. They think, they articulate, but again, I said it's because of the bullying. It's because of the external kind of pressures that come that they do not speak up. So I think that the framework in which the opposition should react is the framework of the Constitution of India. I do not think that it really makes sense for them to outcompete the BJP, on the barometer, of
Right.
religiosity, right? So I think what they've done is absolutely fair, and they have to raise moot questions of
Right.
unemployment, of the price rise, of various other things. I mean, even as we talk, Niru, we know that the FCRA, licenses
Right.
of academic institutions have been cancelled. Doing those, and the CPR, right? I mean, so all these things are happening, side by side, and this entire, and then we have a circular from the INB ministry that says that which forewarns the media from airing things which can cause communal discord,
No,
discord.
sure.
While in fact the belligerence shown by the supporters of this entire political project, are not accused of causing communal discord. So that
Absolutely.
is irony,
Yeah, the areas of concern really remain, and people will talk about, opposition will seemingly talk about it. But the last question to you, Sharadji, that the BJP is riding high on this Ram sentiment, the way they have marketed Ram as a product, the way they have established the hegemony of Hinduism, by saying that, Ram has arrived and the centuries of wait is over. And if you contrast it with the fact, what BJP leaders have been saying, that this year in 2024, BJP will cross the 400 mark, the 400 seats. Are you thinking that BJP is so confident that they will get 400 plus seats this time, just riding high on the Ram sentiment?
The way they've been conducting their political campaigns through religious sentiments. So, and I think they are able to sway a large swath of India, especially North India and Western India. This time, I think they are also going to penetrate to some extent in Eastern India. West Bengal, they had already claimed 18 seats last time. So they might retain, or maybe, and similarly, Odisha. And next on the target is Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Down south, as I was saying, so their target is to get as many seats as possible. They are not satisfied with a simple majority or maybe 300 seats. And the way they are going about it, and I don't see much opposition to them from the opposition or from people. The way whole North India has been painted saffron, I was saying, and people were being bullied, and if anybody is not putting up saffron flags on their house or their cars, or means they are being bullied. So that is a sign of belligerence. And what Vivek was saying, that Hindus, a moderate Hindu and means very strident Hindu. So I think that division was already there. Initially, belligerent Hindus were in a minority, but I think now gradually they are getting into a majority, and the moderate Hindus are getting into a minority, and that is what BJP always wanted, and that might sway the results in BJP's favor this time. Not Balakot, not any other scheme or joblessness, or means these things don't matter to people. You talk to them कि भाई क्या हुआ, क्या जॉब है, जॉब से मतलब नहीं है साहब. 100 रुपए का 200 रुपए भी पेट्रोल होगा, 500 रुपए होगा, खरीदेंगे, बट मोदी ही चाहिए. So if that is the sentiment, so you can very well feel. And I am saying the majority is of now belligerent Hindutva, guys. So I don't see any change in near future.
Right. And that is a disturbing trend. And the euphoria, the frenzy which one sees around this consecration ceremony, may be one reason to rejoice, but there are many, many reasons now to introspect and also think as to where the nation is headed to. And I really shudder to think how the moments will be in the coming years. Thank you so much. We'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Mr. Sharat Gupta, Pushpraj, Rajlakshmi. Thank you so much for joining. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this discussion, subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to The Federal.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.